Hey, hi, welcome to Beer Knowledge Center. In this session, we'll see like how we are going to use Singleton class and create a Singleton class for the demonstration of Singleton design pattern. Let me quickly open my Visual Studio and then create a Singleton class and then how we are going to call the Singleton class into an application. Okay, so let me open my Visual Studio here. I just open my console application here by default. So then I'll start writing a class here for the demonstration. So public class singleton demo. So enter this class. So I'm going to define. So as per the prerequisites for creating a singleton class was the first thing was we need to create a private constructor, private singleton demo, right? And the second thing was singleton demo. Just messed here. Okay. Second thing is we have to create a variable of private static type to expose instance object outside of singleton class. So then we create singleton. Okay, let me do this. I'll create a variable public static singleton demo instance equal to null. By default, it is null. And then I'll declare one of the variable to hold the counter value. So private static int counter equal to 0. So where this variable is having a value and it will be incremented by 1 each time when the object of the class is created. Okay, and then I'll create a property method or a single static method to invoke instance outside of single class. So I'll create public static and the singleton demo is instance. I'm just creating this way. This is property method and of get, and inside of get I'm just returning instance. So before this I'm just uh, checking this instance variable is null or not. If it is null, then I'm going to create instance and then I'll return. Okay, so this is what a basic logic which I'm going to write it in my static public method. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just returning instance here. This is as like a return the singleton instance, right? So this is something we can call it as a thread is not safe here. So this is not thread safe mechanism. So and coming to here, once after created my public method, I'm going to increment my counter value, counter variable. Let me do that in my constructor. So constructor is going to be invoked when you start using of the singleton class. So I'm going to uh, increment this variable, and also I'll write down saying that counter values is that to string. That's it. So right line. Now this is my private constructor. So this is what the prerequisite for singleton class. So in this, so I'm just incrementing my variable and then printing the updated value. So let me, this is private constructor. So each time the constructor is called, So each time the constructor is called, increment the counter value by 1. Okay, then I'm going to write another method here, uh, just printing of some details based on the given value, like public y, uh, print details, and I'm expecting some message. Okay, so here I'll write less than. This is all about my singleton class creation. Okay, so uh, the following method can be accessed from outside of the class, right, by using the singleton instance, right? And similarly, even the above method also, okay, can be used following static method is going to return the singleton instance. Got it? So, and these two variables are first variable basically this variable is going to store the singleton instance, and this is again the same purpose we have created for storing counter value. Now, when you run this, okay, let me compile this. So things are fine. Just compile without issue. Okay. So as it is a console application, we must have some wide main kind of stuff. And so I'm going to uh, do something. I'm going to write some wide main logic here, or I'll directly invoke the method here. So I'll create instance of singleton demo s1 equal to singleton demo. Is it required? Not required. So singleton demo dot instance. Okay. So when I call this s1 dot, print details or something, so what you can access all this stuff, right? Okay. So when I instantiate like this, the count will be increased and the counter value will get printed here. And again, when I say print details of hi, this will get printed. Again, when I try to create another instance like this, again the counter value will get incremented. But if you look at here, this will check always equal to null, and then it is written a new value, right? So in this case, whatever instance is creating in the first statement, same instance will get written for this statement. Okay. To check this, you can check console dot write line of s1 equal to s2. So if s1 equal to s2, then it will return true. That means both objects are the same. That means first object only return for the single as second instance. Okay. So the way we have created the above singleton class is kind of simple structure. So where I just uh, put some methods like returning of instance and printing of details based on the given message. It's a simple thing being created, right? It is not a thread safe in multi-threaded environment. That means it is possible that two threads at the same time uh, check the instance, like whatever condition we have kept here, if instance equal to null, is going to validate it by multi-threads, right? And it is also possible that both of the threads found the condition as true, and hence it will end up creating two instances of the singleton class. So when it is running in the multi-threaded, let us see that. So first we'll see how it is working. So if you can run this, the expected values would be, counter value is 1 because the first time it is calling high, and the value is true because both are the same. If you look at and observe here, this instance is not, invoked the constructor here. Very first time only the constructor being invoked, right? So the S1 equal to singleton demo dot instance. This is the very first time we are calling here, and the first time it is invoking this private constructor. In the inside of constructor, we have incrementing this counter variable. Initially it is 0. Now it has got 1, and that value get printed here. Counter value is 1. And again, so what we are doing is we are just calling print details. So hi, we are just passing. Then hi was printed here, and then we are trying to create a next instance here with the same statement what we have written first. But this won't invoke this private constructor here. Very first time it was invoked, and the constructor being invoked here, and that same instance is returning for the second object here. Now, so as I mentioned, when I ran this particular stuff in multi-threaded environment, let me comment at this and try to run multiple requests. So how to run this? We'll write a sample program. I'm just commenting this and try to use parallel as a kind of object which are being used for calling multiple times. Okay, so the code will invoke based on the code we kept here. We get invoked methods parallelly at the different two different threads here. So I'm just writing parallel dot invoke. Okay, here I'll invoke a method called uh, print method one. Okay, let me try to write that method. Function not private static void private static one. The modifier private is not valid for this item. Why? So I think we should define some class. Okay. That's point here was something. Private program static void string. Okay. So now we will try to write private void static void print method one. So it will get print. Uh, so I'll try to print this through a singleton class. So singleton demo obj1 equal to singleton demo dot instance, right? And obj1 dot print details of, okay, method one. Similarly, I'll write another void print method 2. Same logic, I'll copy it here. So here I'll say that 2. Okay. Now in this main, what I'm doing is, so I'm using parallel dot, invoke. Okay. And here in this, print method 1, print method 2, and here console dot read line. Print says not required. Okay. So let's assume the following, the code will invoke both methods parallelly using two different threads here. So the first one is, let us assume print method 1 is invoked by thread 1, and the second one is invoked by second thread. Okay, so coming to the print method 1 here, thread 1 calling the instance method of the singleton class. This is calling by thread 1, right? Thread 1 calling the instance method of the singleton class, right? And the next one is at the same time, right? Thread 2 is calling, right, instance method of singleton class here. Now if you run this code, so what it will happen is, first it will invoke this, and second it will invoke this. This is for thread 1 and this is for thread 2. Multi-threads are calling it here. As per the logic you have kept here in the instance method, you are just looking at instance equal to null. As threads are different, so first thread is coming with a null and it will get the instance here. And second thread also coming as a null and it also get created. That means two threads are being processed here and having different instances being created. If you run this, so counter value is 1, counter value is 2. That means this thread 1 is calling this one, right? And this constructor being invoked, right? Right? So as I said in the previous example, the constructor is being invoked when you initially start using of a singleton class, right? So if you look at the commented code of here, so the two times have been created two instances like this. For the first time it is being invoked with private constructor, but the second time it didn't invoke because the same instance being carried to here, right? But when it comes to parallel execution of this code, this is a different thread and this is different thread, so both are calling constructors. That's why it is showing a counter value being incremented one and it has printed. And next instance, that means second print method is calling. Again, it hit to singleton demo constructor. It has incremented and it displayed print to method one. If you look at this is thread one, and it initiated calling of this thread 1, print method 1 being invoked. And when it is coming here, it is going to singleton class and get incremented counter value and printed. But before coming to printing this method, it started executing different thread. Then it is going to again constructor, it has got incremented. Then this method being called first, and then last the first thread print details being invoked. So this is something that not thread safe logic we have built here. This thing. We're just checking instance equal to null. So parallel invoke method invoke multiple threads parallelly, right? Whatever we have written here. So this concept is introduced in .NET Framework in Wave 4.0. So parallel programming in C# with real-time examples. You can use this parallel namespace for executing code in parallel. So we are using the parallel invoke method to access the instances method parallelly. So that means at the same time, multiple threads are accessing the instance method of singleton. The above, our singleton class is not a thread safe because the way we have written code here, two different threads can evaluate the condition like equal to null. At the same time, the both threads found to be true and they both will create instances which violates the singleton design pattern. So now run the application and you can see the output is this way. So this is the output clearly shows that the counter value has incremented 2, which proves that constructor of the singleton class is executed 2 times. As a result, 2 instances of the singleton class have been created, right? So if the singleton class is not a thread safe, then we may end up creating a multiple instance of singleton class in a multi-threaded environment. So to avoid this, we should write our singleton class using thread safe logic. Okay, so let's get see that in the next session how we are going to write thread safe singleton design pattern logic. Okay, so I hope you understand the basic structure of singleton class, how we are writing it as like private, constructor, right? And having some static members, right? And having public static method for, giving instance outside of your class and having some public methods to do singleton operations. Okay, hope you understand the demonstration of the singleton class, the basic structure and not thread safe logic. Thanks for listening to this video and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.